You're listening to On Guard, where we chop it up with everyday people who do extraordinary things. If you're inspired by what you hear, all I ask that you give us a follow and share with a friend.
My name is Ayan Nadeem,
Hmm.
and currently I am working as a business development representative and digital marketing manager at Sophirus Technologies. So basically, Sophirus Technologies is a software development company specializing in health tech and RPA again. So there are a whole team which is handling the health tech part, healthcare technology, and I'm the one who is handling the RPA vertical. So for RPA vertical, they have developed a product called Robonito. So it's basically a software testing tool. So we'll later on talk about how it's work and it all. And currently I'm 19 years old and I've been working from last 3 years in
Really?
business development. Yeah,
So how'd you get
and
started?
marketing. So I started as a marketing intern.
Okay.
It was a 3 months internship, and I was at the time I was in ninth class, ninth standard.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that internship just by applying on LinkedIn. So
Okay.
I was applying on LinkedIn for 50 jobs a day, every
Wow.
single
Okay.
day,
Okay.
and just got selected for a couple of internships and did it for a couple of months and then did it again for one more internship. And then after I would say 9 months, I got a permanent job at a company who are providing what do you must say web development services
Mm-hmm.
for studios, for photographer studios, and did it for 8 months and then left because the pay was very less.
Okay. I understand that.
And yeah, and then joined one more company which was about travel. So they were selling the travel packages
Mm-hmm.
for the people that were that little bit interesting for that was the honeymoon packages basically.
Okay.
So they were selling to the normal people like who were interested in honeymoon. So the target market was the couples who recently got married
Okay.
basically.
That's actually the industry
And
that I
then
work in, which is ironic.
yeah, and did it for 4 months, then left, just left, just because the reason I was not feeling well in these jobs, because all was working as a remote. I was working as a remotely, like from home,
Okay.
working from home. So I don't like to be at home at all. Then I find one company locally in my city in India. So yeah, go there and just start working there for them for free, absolutely free for a couple of months, and then they offered me this position. And then after some time they just give me the whole control over the some processes, and then just yeah, handling some more business in US and Gulf.
Interesting. So because I know a lot of people talk about working for free to kind of get
Yeah,
into an industry, and I never really have like met someone who's done it. So like, what was that process like, and what advice could you kind of take from that experience?
so about when you start, so when you are starting, you have almost nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a 16-year-old boy, um, and you know nothing, what you will do first? You are not gonna just be, oh, I'll work for you, you give me money. Nobody's gonna give you money because you are not adding any kind of value. If you really want to do something, at least learn some kind of skill. And working in a startup or in a company at a very lower level just gives you so much lessons and just give you so much learning. So I think in starting, if you are just learning and not getting paid, that's enough, I think. So just work for free for someone for a couple of months, and if you create real value, they will for sure pay you a good money. I think that way.
Interesting. So, did you drop out of school to kind of pursue your business career?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. I dropped out my school after yeah, high school. I dropped out my school, high school.
and what did your
And
parents think of that? Like, were they against it? Were they for it? Like, how did your
yeah, they were totally against it,
okay?
and yeah, totally against it, and they were just didn't talk to me for almost ten months.
Wow.
They didn't even talk to me for 10 months because it's just a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents are just gonna kill you if you left the school. Like, it's a normal thing, everybody is just going to school. And they were saying that your friends will go to this school and this college, and you will be here doing some nonsense things. So, like, yeah,
So,
that was very, what do you say, um, nightmare
yeah.
basically. So yeah, it was very, yeah, random nonsense.
So how did you? What was kind of prompting you to drop
Hmm.
out? Because I think a lot of people who don't kind of fit well in typical schooling, because it is not. I believe personally that school is not very. It's not constructed to, create progressive people, free thinkers. It's very, this is the curriculum, stick to the curriculum, and then if you don't, you're outcast, different. So I think, talking to someone like minded and similar, what kind of sparks you to be like, okay, school's not for me. I'm gonna go pursue a career in, business administration, software development. Like, kind of, what was your like starting point of wanting to go and do your own thing?
So first advice I would give to the person who just want to start something: don't drop out school or college.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's the first thing, because it's very rare that you are dropping out of your school. It really needs a very gut and really high risk taking ability in yourself.
Hmm.
Because if you drop out your school, everyone's just gonna bully you. Your parents, your friends, your relatives, whatever, neighbors, whoever you lives with. So if you just want to start in something like I am doing, just find some random stuff online, I would say. Just search for a couple of companies in your area, or just go some random job providing portals, apply there, and you might got some calls. Take every call seriously, because you don't know what you're gonna get from anyone else. They are calling you. And just go somewhere and just go out of your home. What I'm gonna say, just go out of your home. Yeah.
So you think you think it's smart to kind of have school as something to fall back upon while you kind of pursue the other avenues. You'll have your like kind of second education through a business while you're still in the good graces of your, friends, family, etc.
Sorry, didn't get it what you were saying.
Like, you have because you said don't drop out, right? So if if instead of dropping out, you're kind of doing both. So you would
Hmm.
have
Yeah.
your,
Hmm.
business development career, and then you would have also your schooling.
Yeah, yeah. This is also possible, but I think if you just want to build something extraordinary in your early careers, or before the age, uh, like in very early age, you have to take some big risk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a believer of big risk. I think you should take it if you really think that I can. Then please take it. Like, who cares? At the end, okay, just let me clear this. Nobody is gonna just give you some food after a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's the golden reality of this world. Nobody cares what you are going through. Nobody cares. The people are just coming to you, and if you have done something wrong in today's time, they're just coming to you, that they just pass a comment on you, and they just gonna forget it. They're just gonna forget it. So, like, don't take it seriously. Just do what you love the most. That's all.
So you're kind of, I think you have a very free thinker mind, and you want to, you know, because you're only 19, right? So you have your, basically, you started a career at some point when most people are still kind of in high school or even just starting college. So I think
Yeah.
you kind of have that advantage that's kind of allowed you to understand that I really believe that no one does care, like everyone's lives are so equally complicated that like you have close friends, you have close family members that you care about, but I feel like at the end of the day, how many times do you think about a problem someone else is facing? You have someone of your own that it's kind of difficult to even like perceive anything else. So I think you're right. I think people need to learn that you know I think things are taken too seriously. Like
Hmm.
everything's kind of blown to the 1,000th degree. the amount of internet drama that happens, even on the small
Yeah,
scale and big scale, is so just redundant and it really has no
yeah,
purpose. You know, like you can get canceled to come back, you know, canceled again and like
exactly.
do horrible things, be forgiven, and then you do small things and never forgiven. So I think
Mm,
you're right to
yeah,
kind of just focus on yourself and then pursue avenues in that direction.
exactly.
So yeah, so you started at, age 16, dropped out of school, got started with your job and stuff. So what kind of, you talked about your family was giving you some trouble, didn't talk to you, but during that period, what other hardships did you face? Like were you kicked out or did you kind of still have a place to stay? It was bad terms. Like kind of how did that environment affect you?
Yeah, the luckily I didn't kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I was in home. So after sixth standard, I got my separate room. So there, I would just lock myself in the room and just start working.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, I don't even have a laptop.
Wow. Okay.
I don't even have laptop. So I was just working from my mobile phone.
Really?
And at the time, yeah, I just tried so many things. Like I tried my YouTube channel,
Okay.
I tried Instagram page, I tried blogging as well. I have done like all the stuff that a 16-year-old boy will do
Yeah, I've done the same.
for for earning money,
Yeah.
right? And then I just got some calls as I have applied on LinkedIn for this sales job, whatever it call it. So yeah, then got that job. And the hardest thing I would say that the what do you may call it? Somehow I was thinking that yeah, maybe I will be a big failure in my life because I have left the studies. So yeah, I was very much what that word you may call it, um,
Like self-doubt?
insecurity,
Okay.
insecurity. Yeah, insecurities. That was so much. I was so much insecure about the about my career at the time. So it was 1 year that I was like lost somewhere,
Yeah, I understand that because
and
I
then
think,
yeah,
starting so young, when you're in school, you have a lot of
yeah,
people to compare yourself to, right? You know that the
exactly,
general public is doing that,
exactly,
and there's security in
yeah,
following that path. So when you take an external path that could,
mhm,
prove so much more valuable education wise, like self development wise, it is, riddled with insecurity because you have no idea. No one's holding your hand along the way. You were the one starting your channel.
exactly,
You're the one making content, applying to jobs. Like you had to, you know, do all the work up front, and nothing was given to you, right? But I
exactly,
think that's such if you can learn to battle that insecurity and kind of overcome it, then you're just
yeah.
it's incredible because you have the
You are
bulletproof
just
mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You are just a superhuman if you are going overcome it. But yeah, I strongly feel that you cannot be just live without insecurities. I believe in this thought as well. There are thousands of insecurities. Okay, just what if I lost my business? This is also an insecurity.
Hmm.
Life is full of like insecurities and this pain stuff. So yeah, we have to keep going and we cannot do anything.
But I feel like that's what there's also kind of a beauty to it, because I feel like if there was no
Yeah, yeah,
risk,
exactly.
there would
Hmm.
never be, if there's no risk, there would never be any reason to do anything because you would have the same amount of risk as, sitting on the couch versus going and taking that leap of faith that so many
Exactly,
people have
exactly,
to understand. That's what it takes. You can't,
exactly.
nothing is going to happen if you never have to sacrifice anything difficult. The easy tasks are easy because everyone does them. If I want
Exactly.
to, this year I started a business of my own, right? That wasn't some like decision I was like, oh, okay. Like you had to think about it, plan, study, learn. Like
Yeah,
there's so much to it that people need to understand that upfront cost, that time cost, that educational cost. If you can,
yeah,
pay that and do your dues, you're gonna have so much more valuable information than the people who took it easy.
yeah, exactly.
So let's see. You have, I guess, 3 to 4 years of experience, from age 16, which is very rare. A lot of people, I feel like, they'll kind of get to that point of wanting to make a change a little bit later. 16 is, I feel like, with the internet, like it's younger and younger that people are kind of realizing there are alternatives, which is great. Which I think is a really, really good, powerful tool of the internet. But what are
Yeah.
your, I guess, like your top three tips for anyone who was in your shoes and mistakes you made that you would want to advise people to avoid? You've already said one about not dropping out of school, but like beyond that.
So yeah, first advice that was that please don't drop out the school. and start reading books. Like, it was a great source of information.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that uh, at the time I left social media because I don't scroll. I never scroll. I don't I don't just watch something, uh, some nonsense on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
There are thousands of videos that people consume, which, I know it's nonsense.
Yeah.
So watch that nonsense, and don't watch some nonsense movies. There are movies also which are nonsense. Don't watch. And yeah, like, you cannot ignore content in today's age.
Mm-hmm.
So consume good kind of content. Listen to podcasts. Like, podcasts are the great source of information. Listen to some TED talks. Okay, you don't like boring stuff. Now you can listen to some the 7-minute videos of tips of productivity. Now you can learn thousands of ways to make money, thousands of ways to just improve yourself. Just, yeah, just do it. And try to talk less, and listen more in the early ages of your life.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what I
that's a
believe.
that last one's really
Yeah,
powerful because I feel like a lot of people, especially looking on X and looking on, other
yeah,
places, you'll see like essentially children who they've watched, they've done the first two, they've stayed in school, wanted to pursue something else, and then a lot of people turn to content to learn things, and I think there are just a plethora of outlets on the internet to learn high quality valuable information that can change your life, right? But like you said, there is a lot of fluff
exactly,
and there is a lot of noise that can warp and leads to these people who don't necessarily know exactly what they're talking about trying to become an influence in
exactly,
the space, right? And I think that's where it gets dangerous because then trying to find that actual gold, which exists, is there's just so much fluff on top that you can't. It's so hard to sift
exactly.
through, and I think
Yeah,
that's why I've been kind of pushing recently to be, we're both young, right? So the experience we'll have in
yeah,
10 years is nothing compared to what we have now, right? So I feel like if we can
exactly.
use our actual experiences and build personal brands, that is going to be
Yeah,
so much more valuable than putting on a front, putting on a show of like,
yes,
this I make
exactly,
$1 million. I
exactly,
still haven't made $1 million, so I have no rights or no reason to talk about making $1 million, right? I can say the steps
exactly.
and the way the process to technically make it, but I cannot. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
So with your YouTube channel, how did that? I think everyone should experience making content. I think it's a very good way to improve your diction.
express yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just there's so much personalization. Like I said, like 2 seconds ago, like being a personal brand is so valuable, right? Having an audience that's
exactly,
constantly growing.
exactly. Hmm.
So I think what aspects of that have you taken into your daily life that have proved very helpful?
Sorry, didn't get
You're
just
good.
last line.
You're good. What parts of making content have
Mhm.
boosted your career to the point where it is now?
So basically, honestly, I didn't create any content. First of all,
Hmm.
I have never created any kind of content.
Interesting.
So yeah, so the if I talk about consuming content, okay, so I would say that, um, I don't know why this happened to me. I only like consuming business and entrepreneurship content. I really don't like watching some other stuff.
Hmm.
I really don't know. I really don't know about talking this. So I have consumed Joe Rogan a lot.
Okay.
You might
Yeah,
also.
yeah, of course.
And there is an Indian podcaster, Raj Shamani. You should also watch it. He's a great guy.
Okay.
And Beer Biceps. There's one more guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, these three are the top of the priority list. Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because you have I feel like a lot of who we are is what we consume. If you consume like even like music, if there's studies that show like the things you put into your brain and mind affect the person you become, right? It's very like
Exactly.
A
Exactly.
B, and I feel like people
Exactly.
kind of neglect to understand that if you spend 6 hours a day watching like you said nonsense, you're gonna become a nonsense person. You're not gonna have
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
you can get so much information from finding quality people, and there's the internet has infinite information, right? So you're kind of picking and choosing what you need and what you consume.
Yeah.
So I think
Exactly.
it does play a big role. Like the reason I started as I started watching Alex Hormozy. Do you know him?
Yeah.
And he is just
I. Mhm.
infinite good. Go ahead.
So uh, in my earlier ages, I used to watch. Um, there is some kind of funny thing. So I watch Augie Cockroaches. It's a very good serial.
Okay.
It's a cartoon,
Yeah.
and there is an recently I was talking to one of my friends, San Francisco. He's from San Francisco, and he was like building a very good startup, like raised millions of dollars
Really? Okay.
recently, and yeah, and he's building in an anime. Anime is some kind of
He's
what
building
you
an
may call
anime.
it. Yeah, he's building anime production house actually.
Oh, that's smart actually. With the boot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, so it's kind of a cartoon basically.
Mm-hmm.
So he recently raised millions of dollars from BNext, and they're like very big company, and yeah, great thing they
Interesting.
were going through. Yeah,
I th- that is something. I think there is people think that the market is getting oversaturated because of how many people are starting things. You know what I mean? But I feel like
yeah,
it's. I don't think there really can be oversaturation to the degree people think. You know, I think people can have similar ideas, and at the lower level, people do kind of copy and paste off each other. But if you have
yeah,
someone like your friend, you know, how many people do you know that have raised millions to build anime studios? Not very many, right? I think
yeah,
if you can have like semi original thought nowadays, that is going to just people will take notice. You know, that's an interesting thing. Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
and
exactly,
that's when you become like I think everyone would like to be great, would like to be known to some extent, and then I think people if you just follow the trends and what everyone else is doing, you're not like you don't stick out. Like you may be doing stuff
exactly,
that is you're building an audience, but you're not building a brand. And I think that's what
exactly,
like it's interesting to have people, like you at such a young age starting to just go for it, right? You just like this is such a new phenomenon, a new thing, especially with people in the AI space, people in like just any space you have just so many new young people that know exactly what they want to do and they're actually taking action.
exactly.
Because I think this
And
is so,
yeah,
go ahead.
I also believe that doing something abnormal sometimes um, gives you a very pain, so much pain in starting, but the pain will multiply in the satisfaction after some time, and then it will whatever you may call it success after a very long period of pain. So yeah, that's how this also works. As you said, that if you follow the trend, uh, everyone like trend after some time trend is also go down.
Mm.
So if you even if you become very successful in that trend, you will also go down. So like standing out is most important thing, I would say.
Because I feel like we've seen so many people blow off of a certain thing, and then they become known as like, that person, like the guy, you know what I mean? Like their name is tied to that trend. So like you said, when that trend is
Exactly.
it inevitably falls off, and now trends only last for a week, 2 weeks. So that skyrocket to fame, they're not there's like they didn't have the original thought to blow up before the trend. So now they're up here
Exactly.
and they have the same level of, creation skill as they did down here. And that's when you're
Yeah.
kind of left with these people who you're like, why are they famous? And I think fame is such a tricky thing because well, let me ask you this
Exactly.
first. Would you want to be famous? Like in a, what is your what's your goal? Like, do you want to be famous, successful, wealthy, investor? Like, what's your kind of, you continue on your
Well,
path? Like, what's your future?
so uh, in one line, I would say I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I really driven about the things that I'm doing nowadays. Like so much driven. I slept almost 3 to 4 a.m. in night and woke up like
Wow. Okay.
8 or 9. So, but after that goal of 2024 is basically starting the own stuff. Because currently I am working for a company. Basically, even if they will give me a meaningful stake or a meaningful shares in the company, still the majority stakes will be in the founder's hand or an investor's hand. So I just want to do something of my own. So that's why I joined X also, actually. X.
Interesting.
That's why I joined the X because somebody has told me very often. because personal brand as a founder is very important, I think.
Hmm.
So that's why I also join X. And talking about future, just I don't know, maybe something big is gonna happen, or I don't know, maybe some very bad thing can happen.
But I
But
think
yeah, I don't know.
that's like going back to your previous point. That's kind of the risk, you know. And I don't think I think X from okay. So what I would recommend, like while building my audience the past couple of months, is
Hmm.
X is a good way to network, but it's very hard to
Exactly,
become like big. Does that make sense? Like have people who
exactly.
like because like I said at the bottom level it's very hard to have original thought and make a tweet can go like yesterday I posted some tweet that was like a question tweet and I got like 16K and I was like, oh, that's cool, but that does not convert into followers, because people don't
Exactly, exactly.
they'll like it's very difficult to kind of make content on X that is. I think it's very good for making people aware of you, but if you want to build a lasting
Yeah.
audience, YouTube can be a
Hmm.
very because you have the videos and they last and they kind of if you go to a channel that has 50 videos, you can kind of get a gauge of the sense in a person. I think that's where building an audience is easiest, but also the problem
Yeah.
comes in time to edit, production quality, like there is so
Yes.
much. It's like it is a job now because
Yeah.
of
Because
the
yeah.
quality that has been, people have put hours and hours and hours into making high quality, engaging
Exactly.
videos. So,
Exactly.
entering is by yourself when you don't have a team of editors. It's very, very, very difficult.
Exactly. It's basically even if you go into the founders world where uh, so people are charging like hundreds of dollars doing for this job for an hour.
Yeah,
Like there is this guy from Bangladesh. Have you heard of it? Bangladesh.
yeah, yeah.
So he's a freelancer basically,
Mm-hmm.
working on Upwork,
Okay.
and he's getting paid almost $400 per hour creating, not creating, I would say editing the videos,
Mm.
just editing the videos, and he's making like the very much amount, 10K dollars or whatever dollars, I don't know. But yeah, it's a very good amount, and it's a very big market. Again, I would say people are making millions of dollars just by doing this, as you have said, the content creation stuff. Yeah.
And I think my worry for the future is that I have an editor as well. I don't have the $400 hour editor, but I do have someone that I do pay money to help with the content creation because like running a business and creating content, it's you have to you're holding a lot of spinning plates. So the more you can outsource and kind of pass the plates off so that people are able to assist you and build a team, because I think
Yeah.
that's where a lot of people who start YouTube do it themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a from like start to finish of a video. You have to write the script, shots, like that process is very, very, very stressful, and it's very like tiring. And I think that's where you see burnout because you could have someone with extreme potential, but
Yeah.
after making 5 videos over the course of a month, 2 months, they're exhausted, and they can't
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
that's it's not sustainable by yourself. And I think that's where we're gonna see kind of even looking at like we'll use a big example like Mr. Beast, right? He started with a group of friends and he had the accountability of his friends, the idea was like that is where I think people need to start heading, having a group of people you can rely on and build, a team that doesn't cost money at the start. Then you'll
Yeah.
have so much more success because if you have an accountability partner, I think that's kind of a lot easier than being self-driven. Which you can be self-driven, like I did you have an accountability partner when you were starting out, like dropping out of school? Did you have someone to kind of talk to daily that like helped you go, or is just completely self-driven?
So I really don't have any kind of partner at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there is this guy in my neighbor. So he used to guide me in that sense. So I dropped out at school at the time. So everybody used to tell me that, oh, like this is something that is wrong. Why
Mm-hmm.
you have done this? Everybody just asking so much questions from me. But that guy understands that maybe I don't like it. Maybe there is something that I'm gonna do next. So he used to appreciate me on that thing.
Hmm.
Like, oh, you have taken very big risk. Keep it up. Now he used to tell me thousands of ways to make money. He told me about YouTube channel and Instagram page as well. So yeah, there were some friends who were supporting me at the time. And yeah, like the friends who are supporting you at the very tough times, you might say, they are your best friends basically. So yeah, still they are with me, having fun.
Yeah, and I think those are the people you get to, once, because I feel like if you work hard enough, you cannot fail. Like, I didn't
Exactly, exactly.
understand it before, but it's very, very, very difficult to, if you are a good person, an honest person, and you put in the hours day in, day out, you're always learning, and our minds are
Exactly,
so much more
exactly.
powerful than we think, right?
Mm. Yes.
So once you get to that stage when you do succeed, you can appreciate all the people that were with you from day one, and that's it's also helpful because I feel like we live in a world with a lot of people who are like, I don't want to say fake, but you do see people kind of latch on to people who already have seen success rather than
Yep.
like it's stuff like that. They'll look at Mr. Beast, but they'll ignore Jimmy, and I think that's when you're
Yeah.
kind of like, if you can find people who look at you and acknowledge you and kind of appreciate where you're
Yeah.
going, those groups of people are extremely, extremely valuable.
Exactly. I also believe in this.
So to kind of wrap it up, like, what would you say in the next 5 years? Like, where do you want to be? You want to start your business and you want to kind
Yes.
of pivot from where you are now. Working for someone and how to have that, time freedom and a little more like boots on the ground stuff. So in the next 5 years, where do you want to be?
So from the beginning when I started, um, I don't know what's gonna happen at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, today I would say that I'm gonna be an entrepreneur and a successful businessman. That's what I would say, because nobody knows what happened tomorrow, man. Nobody knows what will happen. We can just assume that okay, this might be happen. Okay, so yeah, in 2024, I'm gonna start my own firm, and yeah, just work and profits, because I'm not gonna raise millions of dollars to get headlines in news
Yeah.
and then crash it up and then nothing and get back to home. So I'm not gonna play that funding game.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanna build sustainable and profitable business. That's it.
And you said successful businessman. So how would you define success? Because I feel like it's different for everyone.
Exactly. So I would so currently I'll tell you currently what's the meaning of success for me.
Mm-hmm.
Getting out of your regrets is what success means for me,
Mm.
I would say. Uh, Now there are several other factors also, like money and many things. You can understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, like just okay, I forgot it what I was saying.
No, I see what you're coming
Okay,
from.
getting out of your regrets. So I'll tell you one thing. You woke up early in the morning somehow,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to edit a video, for example,
Yeah.
and you didn't do it. You just go to sleep again. Now you are waking up at somewhere around 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the time is gone,
Yeah.
and now you have to go somewhere else. Okay, so this regret will kill you next. Like it will hurt you a lot. It will hurt you a lot, basically. So, oh, I should have done this. I haven't done it. Okay, why should I have done it? So it's a lot of, what do you may call it? It's stress. It happens to me when I have to do something and I didn't do it. So it's lots of regret that came in my life. So I don't want to live that life, basically. So I just want to be regret free, and yeah, just want to put every single waking hour into work, so that I cannot regret that, oh, I can done this but I haven't done it. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So you would say you kind of define success in like kind of not letting yourself down. If you can
Yes,
be proud of yourself, you'll kind of feel
exactly.
successful in turn, and then because you haven't been letting yourself down, success will come.
Yeah.
Fantastic, dude. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a really, really cool talk. I'm looking forward to see where you are in about a year, and maybe we'll come back and touch base on your firm and like where you are in your journey, because it is like you said, there is nothing known. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, and the success we see today could definitely fade. Tomorrow you could let yourself down, you could lose something, and a employee could quit. So I think it's gonna be interesting to watch your journey. I just want to say, thanks, man.